Good evening and welcome to episode 1 of Alien the Colony, Effect Podcast's new Alien role-playing game stream every second Thursday at 8:30 GMT. And here we are with our crew for today's episode. We are running this as a West Marches campaign, so it will be a different crew on each episode, but then clearly people will come back and will star in future episodes as well. So very quickly, let's just run around our players for today. Tony, if you'd just like to briefly introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Tony, Dave's brother. Brief enough?
Dean? That's brief enough. Dean?
Hello, I'm his youngest son.
This is a family business, you see, obviously. Bruce?
I'm Bruce. I am in no relation to Dave in any way, shape, or form. So I'm just one of the Effect Podcast fans.
Sack College.
And Frank.
Hi, my name's Frank, and again, no relations at all, but other than being a big fan of the Effect Podcast.
Cool. Thank you all. So episode 1, The Restless Few. What's the story so far? The Solovetsky Island Colony, a surveying and prospecting venture. Established in 2183, this is a joint venture between the UPP and the corporates of LaSalle Bionational. I'm going to share the screen now, Matthew. Established just 6 weeks ago on the planet 1 Iota Scorpii, several light years beyond the frontier. A new place, a new home for the restless few to break new ground. The planet is small, just 4,000 kilometers across, with gravity about half of Earth's standard. And it's covered in water, with thousands of tiny islands dotting the surface. An archipelago planet. But it's bountiful. Life of all kind has its home here, from sweeping carpets of seaweed and beautiful flowers to enormous beasts that cruise the seas. You know next to nothing about any of it. You've only just scratched the surface. The planet has a short year, just 72 Earth days, which makes 173 of the 10-hour days that this planet experiences. The sun is red and big in the sky when you can see it. It casts an eerie glow with more radiation than you'd like through the blue of the sky and the reflected orange flame of the clouds. It rains a lot here, and there are frequent storms, although they tend to be weaker nearer the equator, where you have set up base. To deal with the worst of the radiation, you have built much of your colony underwater, in the shallows of a group of little islands, the largest of which you have naturally christened Solovetsky Island. Your first job was to harden the installations against the water and radiation, and adapt your complement of Daihotai tractors into amphibious submersibles. These dippers, as they are called, can't go deep, but should be able to survive 50 meters. But while you've made a brilliant start to life here, your work has only just begun. Already, people are complaining about having to eat all those lab-grown rations, the algae, yeast, mulchy cubes of tasteless nutrition that keep you alive, but at the cost of sometimes wishing that you weren't. Already, tensions are rising as the UPP leadership tries to impose the people's system of currency, merits, and demerits. Points awarded for your work and rewarded with bonus portions of food or space or recognition and thanks. The LaSalle directors insist the LaSalle directors insist that only the currency worth using is of the cold and hard kind, cash. If not the ubiquitous and always valid Weyland-Yutani dollar, even out here, then the UPP yen must be used. But already, people are getting to work. The wildcatters are out surveying and prospecting as far and as fast as their Daihotai dippers can carry them. The farmers are looking for local produce to gather and feed the people. The scientists are looking for the next breakthrough. 1 Iota Scorpii may not be a paradise, but it has vast depths of potential. And of course, it's home. Now, I'd like you to introduce yourselves as your characters now, please, starting with, let's go the other way, starting with Oscar.
Right, Oscar Prischka. He is from the UPP. He is a farmer with a big plan of making sure that this world here turns into a Garden Eden and we don't have to eat that horrible lab-grown gruel anymore.
Great, thanks. Xavier.
Xavier Deoloni is the LaSalle Bionational Xenobiologist. He is here as part of the company. Widower, and has just been assigned as part of the company because of the past few years. His work's probably not been going that great, so they decided to send him off, but he has been doing some good results, and he hopes to find some new discoveries and also make sure there's plenty of antitoxins as well.
Good.
You never know, you might need them.
Mhm.
Dr. Mayer.
Hello, I am Dr. Michaela Meyer. I am the therapeutics officer of the colony. If you ever have any stress-related incidents or just want to talk to someone, I'm there.
You might be busy.
I imagine so.
Yeah, stress-related incidents. Surely there'll be none of those.
And last but not least, Dimitri.
I'm Dmitry Ivanovsky, scientist from the UPP, officially in the colony as a geologist, but I am a bit of a polymath. I have expertise in many areas. I'm sure I can advise Xavier on some of his xenobiology issues that he might be having.
Cool. Thank you all very much. So what's the next chapter? A survey prospect mission has been handed down from the top, one that will take the exploration team further than any before it. You are to journey 2,000 kilometers to the southeast, into true equatorial waters, to the vast tracts of islands that are full of toxic but beautiful plant life. This has in part been pushed for by the Commissar General himself, the chief law officer on the base, Tan Blatchman, claiming that the morale and hence the behavior of the colonists is getting worse due to the terrible food that everybody has to swallow. So the mission has been sponsored at a payment of either 750 yen or 500 merit per week to pursue the following objectives. Examine the flora and fauna of the region for scientific discovery. Establish a forward scientific outpost to continue the work. Survey and prospect for natural resources, and assess the life of the area for exploitable food sources. The crew is going to be made up of 8 people, 4 scientists under the authority of Dmitry Ivanovsky, Xavier Delannoy, Zenaida Ibeck, Christoph Kalin, and Mikhail Meyer. 1 farmer, Oscar Prischka, and 2 maintenance stroke security officers, Nerlan Ozolinski and his dog, Boyenka, and Kamen Chan. Of these, Ibeck, Kalin, and Ozolinski are due to remain behind to continue the scientific efforts, whilst the rest return to Solovetsky Island to analyse any initial results. You have the use of Prischka's dipper, as well as a second dipper that's been configured as a long-term survival unit and as a tug to pull the science module that you've got to take with you. That's your mission, guys. Under the titular leadership of Ivanovsky.
Quite right too.
You have access to Prischka's dihetide dipper. You have access to another one which belongs to Ozolinski, or is currently being used by Ozolinski. And you have a what is a kind of caravan-sized, like static caravan-sized science pod that has no drive of its own, so has to be towed all the way to the site.
So there's 8 people on this mission.
There are, yeah.
Yes. And a dog. Did you say someone's going to bring their dog in one of these basically submarines? Really?
Ozolinski is bringing his dog along, yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure that's a good idea.
I think it's a wonderful idea. Stress release.
Okay, if you say so.
Real issue.
Doctor. And so there's 8 people and a dog, and these dippers take 4 people comfortably?
4 plus the crew, so you can get 6.
Oh, plus the crew, so 4 passengers. Yeah, presumably we'll have some sort of pilots of these, because it wouldn't go well if I'm driving one of them.
So I'm guessing, Oscar, you are going to drive yours.
Yeah, well,
I see.
mine, as you said. I'm going to drive the one that I look after.
Yeah. And Ozelinsky will drive the other one. So you've got
How
a 2000. Sorry, go on.
Sorry. So yeah, how far is it? How long is it going to take? How fast do these things go? How long is it going to take to get to our target area?
It's about 2,000 kilometers to get to the edge where where most of these plants begin to grow. The safe speed for your dippers on the surface anyway is about 50 kilometers an hour. So that's a journey of about 40 hours one way.
And how much fuel can these dippers carry? Have they got enough to get there and back comfortably? With any
So the range of a dipper is about 2,500 kilometers, but you can take additional fuel in. They each have 12 heavy equipment slots, and so you can fill up one of those. Each one of those that you fill with fuel adds 500 kilometers to its range.
Okay, so we'll have to take some extra fuel, won't we, if we want to actually get back again, which we probably do.
I think that's the plan.
So you've got so there are 3 spare slots on Ozelinsky's dipper. He hasn't taken extra fuel on the grounds that they're going to stay there with it, and there'll be
still
other
going to have to get
missions.
back at some point, aren't
Exactly.
they? I'm not sure that's wise. But
They should take some fuel.
So are there 3 people who are tasked with staying?
Yes, Ozelinsky,
Shan.
Kamen Chan, and Zinaida Ibeck.
So either
she's the scientist. The other 2 are kind of basically maintenance guys.
Oh, we lost the doctor. So if we're going, because we're all going to come back, so are we all going to have to? Everyone else going to have to squeeze back into one dipper to get back, or
Yes.
Fair enough. Although I would still suggest that they take a bit
So
more.
there'll only be 5 of you in the other dipper, though, isn't it? So there's 8 in total.
Yeah.
They're still going to, even if they're staying there, they might want to kind of have a look around the area at some point, won't they? So having some fuel in hand is probably going to be useful. Up to them.
Unless they can distill their own fuel while they're there, but otherwise, yeah, definitely they should take some more.
Are you telling Ozelinsky to take some extra fuel, Tone?
I'm suggesting that it might be wise. I think it's it's his dipper. I'll leave it up to his choice, but because he's the one that's going to be staying there.
He's quite a difficult character. He only really likes his dog. Doesn't really get on with people very well. And he's the kind. You're telling me?
No, I'm advising you. I'm advising you. I'm very much clear, making clear. I'm not telling you. It's your dipper, your call. But A, there might be an emergency. You might need to get back in a hurry. B, once you're there, you might want to explore the area a bit more in the dipper, and therefore having extra fuel would be advisable.
Can you make a manipulation roll, please, Tone?
Yes, I can. I get no successes. I'm not pushing, because I don't really care if he runs out of fuel.
Okay. Your attempt to be nice kind of hasn't really gone down terribly well, and he tuts and goes off. He gets 1 extra fuel and loads it up.
Okay, so Oscar, presumably you're going to bring extra fuel on your dipper.
Well, yes, enough hopefully to get there, back,
back.
and a bit of 10% or so margin. You never know.
Seems very sensible.
So, is there anything else that you're going to want to take on the mission with you? So, the science pod has got pretty much all the science equipment you're going to need. You'll have enough food for a couple of weeks, but you probably might not need to be there that long.
It was wise to take more than we think we'll need, though, in case of emergencies.
And I'm sure the doctor is fully kitted out with his medicine bag, with his therapeutics.
Oh yes, I'm definitely a medical officer. Oh yeah, let's go for that. I'm definitely not just good at talking to people, and that's absolutely it.
You're called doctor, so you must know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah,
Do you have some medical aid skill, Doctor?
I have a little, yes, but I'm very empathetic.
How
so,
little?
I've got 1 point in medical aid,
And
but,
what's your
but
empathy?
I 5.
Oh, okay, so
I'm
still
very
better.
empathetic.
No.
So if someone's horribly injured, you might not better repair their injury, but you'll better be very sympathetic to them.
He's really
Make
good
me
at
feel
the
better.
there
I might-
maneuver.
I might not be able to make it so that I can fix your leg, but I can make you feel better that it's broken.
You won't notice.
I know a little bit to patch up on people who have injured during research missions. So you have to
Okay.
study the body.
Somehow he's
Is that,
spookier
is,
than I am.
is that supposed to reassure the crew going out on this? I'm very good at studying bodies.
Well, studying effects and poisons and antitoxins, because you never know what you're going to need. I mean, that's the whole idea.
Well, yeah, we do know that where we're going, there are toxic plants, don't we?
Yes, exactly. And we want to
there
make
is-
sure everybody's going to be protected from them.
Yeah. Has anyone got a med kit? Can we have some med kits on the dippers?
We definitely should have some. Yeah.
We should take some med kits. Can we do that?
I think the standard emergency kit on the Dipper has a med kit. Yeah.
A med kit. Okay.
Take a
We've got
personal one.
2 dippers, haven't we? So
Pardon?
I'm going to take a personal one for Xavier as well, just to make sure. It's always
Yeah.
handy to have additional.
Is there anything else that you want to request to take with you before you go?
I don't think so. As long as assuming the science module is kind of stocked with, the usual sciencey stuff that we would want
Yeah,
for
spare,
such
a couple of spare parts for the dippers in case something breaks down.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Again, there should be standard spare parts
Okay,
in already in the Dippers store.
I'll
Where
just
we're
check that
going-
they're actually there because you never know with UPP. Things go missing.
Also, could we get something to take samples of the toxic environment?
Presumably that's
Yeah.
will be in our
Yeah.
I would
science
assume so, but
kit, won't it?
Yep. You can
For
check
the
it. There's
doctor's fee.
everything you need for scientific analysis and all that is in the science pod. The pod itself obviously floats, but you do have the ability to anchor it either to the seabed or to dry land if you wanted to when you get there.
So when we get there, are we heading for like a specific island, or is it like just an archipelago of small islands like everywhere else?
So yeah, this place is pretty much all archipelagos of small islands, with the exception of the mountain range that's kind of on the other side of the northern hemisphere, but only the tops of that come above the water. There is there is a lot of plant life around the equator, living on and around these islands. So there's pretty much all over the place. So the nearest bit for you is about 2,000 kilometers away from where you are, which is why you're heading there. But there isn't a particular island you're going to. You just need to go and find a good spot.
And have we got kind of hazmat suits as part of our the scientific stuff? Considering we're going to examine a place where we know there are loads of toxic plants.
There are 3 hazmat suits in the science pod.
3, okay.
They don't look in the best of condition, but quite a lot of your stuff doesn't look in the best of condition either.
Okay. And do we have like scuba gear and stuff we can take in case we want to have a look around, kind of in the water around one of these islands when we're there?
You do have compression suits. There are 3 standard in each dipper.
Is that going to be enough?
so we've got total 6, but there's 8 of us plus a
Yeah.
dog.
Plus a dog, yeah.
So
Yeah,
do
we've
you
got a
want
dog-sized compression suit.
do you want to do 3 more?
Scuba diver dog. Yeah, excellent.
Can we jury rig a compression suit to fit a dog?
If
These
you
are the
wanted
questions.
to,
Do we-
if you wanted to take a day and make a heavy machinery roll, then
Why would
yes,
you want to do
I
that?
think you can.
Why would we want
These
to do that?
these are the
It's a bit
questions
like that
that
grumpy
need
old git.
answering.
There's grumpy old git who thinks he needs his dog, but not spare fuel for his dipper. If he wants a pressure suit for his dog, he can make his own.
Yeah, I'm sure we can just use one of the sample cages when we're captured for the dog in. Yeah.
How big is the dog?
The dog is it's a mixed breed, but it's about the size of a German Shepherd.
Right. He can't just stuff it down his jumper then.
What's the mixed breed?
You have to ask Ozalitsky.
Can I ask Kozalski?
I don't know.
Fair enough. The dog is important, okay?
Who wants to make the observation rule to recognise the other half a breed of the dog already?
So are we ready to set off, everybody?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay, right then, right. So it's week 7, day 45 of Solovetsky Island, year 0, and you're now moving into autumn. The journey, as I said, is going to take 40 hours. If you go at the safe speed of 50 kilometers, you can go faster. You can go slower.
I think probably let's go to safe speed, shall we? Disagree with that?
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
So the safe cruising speed on the surface is 50 kilometers. Submerged, it's 25. So these things can go. They're amphibious and submersible. But yeah, okay. So let's see what the weather's like at the moment. So it's raining when you set off. There's quite a lot of cloud. The atmosphere is quite dense here, so you often get a lot of cloud. Storms can be frequent and sometimes quite strong, but this doesn't really give you any real trouble. So the day on this place is 5 hours long with 5 hours of night. So you're cycling through day and night quite much more quickly than you would be ordinarily on Earth, for example. And then as you're sort of going through the second 20 hours, the sky is clear, and you can see the sunshine and there's no rain.
Do we have kind of 2 pilots on each dipper, or 2 people who can pilot it, so
So we can take turns. Yeah.
They can take turns, and someone can have a bit of a nap, rather than drive for 40 hours solidly.
Yeah.
Which is a bit harsh.
Well, Ozalinsky is driving his dipper, and he's got Chan is with him, so he and Chan are sharing the driving.
Who would like to share with me then? Can I see your driving licenses?
Yeah, you
Are
probably
you
don't
type
want me.
rated?
You don't want me to drive.
You don't want me to drive.
I'll probably
Hang on. Somebody else needs
an
to.
island to crash into it if I tried.
Unless there's comrade autopilot.
There probably is an autopilot function, but it probably just drives in a straight line. It's not going to be
Right.
It's not going to be.
If you aim it
Cruise
between
control.
islands, it'd be fine. Just turn it on.
If we're not doing anything strenuous, then I would assume, we could probably
Easy
easily
enough.
pick up the basics. Yeah.
At least somebody could then kind of sit and watch, and then just go and wake us up if it looks like something bad's about to happen.
The conditions are actually pretty good. They don't get much better actually for doing this. You are going across quite a large expanse of deep sea where there's very little in the way of other islands as part of this journey. But again, with the weather behaving, you seem to get through in a pretty easy way.
Just hoping that the sea life doesn't bother us.
Don't give them ideas.
You don't see
on the table.
You don't see anything as you are traveling. You've certainly seen the footage of some of the giant beasts that are to the north of where Solovetsky Island is. These are enormous, like sea worms, really. They're 10 or 15 meters wide. They're up to 100 meters long, and they just slowly cruise the oceans, scooping up I guess the
Dippers.
planet's equivalent of dippers, yeah, but also the planet's equivalent of krill and plankton. You haven't had much chance to really look into any of those yet. There's an awful lot of work to be done on this island on this planet to understand everything that's here. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen. So you do, after your 40 hours of pretty much uneventful but boring journey, you do, you approach a group of islands, and you can see in the distance as you're approaching them that there are a very close picture of Frank.
That's scary.
Oh, am I?
There are lots of islands, and the dominant life you can see are what appear to be sort of flower-like trees. Their trunks are green, almost like giant celery, with sinews and tendrils attached. They've got sort of pulsating bulbs of various different sizes. Some of them are quite small, like a cricket ball or something. Some of them are football-sized. There are a few that are much bigger than that. And then these trees culminate in a stunning and elaborate flower head, and with a almost orchid-like in its beauty, with a real depth of color. And as you approach, you can see that many of these, in fact, all of these trees, are actually on dry land. Quite often, some of them are in a lagoon, on a little bit of dry ground in the middle of the lagoon, with the lagoon water all around them.
Okay, check that out, Xavier. That looks promising, doesn't it?
Yeah, so that sounds like a good place. Let's
So
hope Dimitri agrees with that as well. Yeah.
So I'm going to share the screen, and there's a particularly good specimen that you can see in this particular area that I've shown on the map, and assuming you guys can see this.
Yep.
The lagoon in the center is so it's about 100 meters across. Each of these hexes is 10 meters. It's got a large bit in the middle, and there are two of these tree things, quite big ones. The smallest ones you see are about the height of a young child, maybe a 10-year-old child. The biggest ones are maybe twice the height of an adult. And there are two quite large ones, one on each of the highest bit of ground here. There's also one in the other lagoon here, and the other lagoon to the north. And the other ground as well has some on, but the ones on the other ground tend to be smaller. They each have a big sort of bulbous foundation, almost like a wood-like plinth upon which these plants, these tree-like flowers stand. And these are all above the waterline. None of these that you can see are actually in the water anywhere. They do have a lot of roots coming down, sort of dark roots about the size of sort of thick electrical cabling that then go into the water and form a bit of a carpet around these bigger plants. And kind of that's what you can see as you're approaching. I guess you're probably coming from the northwest for this map, up from the top left. That's kind of what you can see from your approach there.
So Dimitri, where shall we go? You're the leader of the expedition, aren't you?
So that's Central Lagoon.
Shall I put that up again?
Yeah, if you could.
Yep, there you go.
Thanks. So we basically need to find somewhere to kind of set up a base. That we're assuming that we're going to, or at least we need to pick somewhere that the guys who are going to stay are going to set up their semi-permanent base. So is one of these islands going to be suitable for that? And presumably that middle lagoon with the island there, presumably we can't, are we going to be able to get the dippers into that lagoon?
Yes.
Can they go? Can the dippers go onto land as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of this sort of ground here, dry land here, is quite rocky, but it's also quite low. Where the ground rises, then that would be harder for them to traverse. Now, if I go back to the image, so yeah, it looks a bit like this. You can see the image.
Yeah.
That's the kind of the rocks you're looking at, and it grows up a bit higher than that. But nowhere here is the ground more than 5 meters above the waterline.
Didn't we have really strong tides on this planet?
We did, yeah. Which makes me kind of concerned. And makes me think that we should put it with some sort of border.
So
We can anchor it in the water, right? We can anchor this container in the water.
It can be anchored in the water. Yep. The articulation you've got here is pretty much at high tide, and at this time of year, you know that the tides are going to be about 5 meters.
Mm-hmm.
So the water will go 5 meters lower, and then it'll come back up again.
Well, I'm just the driver. Let's see.
All of these islands here pretty much have got some of these flower plants on them. As I said, the biggest ones tend to be in the center of the lagoons, but all of this rocky island are also covered in this root material that works its way out and gets to the water at some point or another.
So are there big enough areas on the island, on the bigger islands, like the one in the top left, where we could basically park our science module
There's
without
definitely
away from these routes?
Not entirely. No, you you can park it on top of the routes, or you could clear the routes away if you didn't want to do that. But there are, I mean, this place is quite well inhabited. It's got quite a lot of growth on it.
Why don't we aim for one of the shallows then? The plants don't grow in the shallows, or so far as we can tell. And if the roots are overgrowing with the islands, we could plant ourselves in the shallows.
Yep, that's not a bad idea.
Have our floating research lab, so to speak.
Well, then if we can anchor it
To the boat.
to the floor.
Yeah,
Well,
basically,
so
have an
float
anchored
away.
boat. Yeah.
Okay, so can I whoever's doing that, can I have a heavy machinery roll, please? So I mean, anchoring it properly is going to take a number of turns to do that.
Oh, I'll definitely help out with this if I can. Heavy machinery, I've got strength 5, heavy machinery 3.
Oh, well, you're the man for this then. This job.
Anything agricultural is mine. So it's not going to look pretty, but hopefully it's
Can we help? No, that's fine, as long as it's securely anchored.
10 people help?
You can have 3 dice of help. Yeah, this is definitely a team job.
I'm running out of D6s now. I have to take a stress die, even though it's not a stress die.
The help is almost better than my roll.
Anybody else? Any equipment dice? No? Okay, wrong game. So I have a grand total of 2 successes.
Okay, yeah. So you think that spot? If I bring the map up once again, which shallow were you going for?
I think the one where the mouse pointer was it?
Yeah.
So this one here.
Yeah.
I think that shallow's probably best because you've got a border on the top as well with a high rise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So you've done a good job. You found a bit of flat seabed there that obviously will become exposed when the tide goes down, and you can attach it. Yeah. You can see that there are roots kind of all over the place here, but they're nowhere as thick in those sort of shallow areas as they are when they're near the islands themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've managed to do that. Ibeck and Callan are very keen to sort of get on with actually looking at some of these things. And you've got a couple of hours of daylight left before the sun will set for the 5-hour night that's coming.
Okay, I think we should tread a little bit cautiously because we don't know how toxic these things are, or what they might defensive mechanisms they have with their toxins. Which means that's what their toxins are for. So we've got 3 hazmat suits. Just like, and at least our initial examinations of these plants things should be done in hazmat suits. So I think 3 of us should go on the initial sorting.
Oscar and those people who are anchoring the science pod
I knew it.
obviously needed to get out. So when you did that, you detected a bitter aroma in the air. almost a bit acrid. Almost you get the odd hint of a sort of faint burning smell.
Was it there right away, or just after we put the anchors down?
No, the air smells quite bitter. Anyway, as soon as you came out, and acrid, and so you get the odd whiff of sort of a faint burning, as if something's burned. You just got a bit of smoke or something almost, but you don't see any smoke.
Oh, can our scientists tell us a bit more?
I think we should probably try and do some analysis on the air just to see whether there's any toxins actually airborne.
It does sound like acidic corrosion.
Yeah.
Can I have an observation roll then for a scientist who wants to make any kind of analysis?
Well, I'll have a go. Anyone else helping?
I can help.
Do I count as a scientist?
You're a doctor.
I don't remember what your archetype was, Dean.
I'm an educator.
Okay, so no, you're not officially a scientist. No,
I mean,
you can have a go with observation if you wish.
Well, it's just, can we individually do it, or is one of us doing it with help?
I think that's probably better. Yeah, one of you doing it with help. You can have.
So I have 8.
I'd happily help as well. But
8 as well. Yeah.
I'll
do you
let you
roll
do it.
then, Bruce? If you've got 8, and I'll help you.
Okay, so I'll push you up to 9.
As you're doing your
Can a
analysis,
couple of other people help as well?
you can have 3 dice of help. Yes.
So
Okay,
up to
good.
11.
Okay.
I'll help.
So
Well, as you're doing this analysis, this probably takes you a little while. You can see some other things that the water around some of these flowers looks a bit discoloured, particularly tellingly so in the lagoons themselves. But there's also a variety of sort of blues and purples swirling around, particularly in the lagoons.
Blues and purples.
How many successes did you get?
1 out of 11 dice.
Did you wish to push?
I think I will push just to try and get more.
Yeah, that's probably sensible, I think.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
So I'm going to roll the stress dice separate because I'm using a spare one. Actually, I don't need to do that because I've got 1 success. Right. So that's made it now 3 successes in total.
Right. Okay. And you've now got a point of stress.
Yeah.
Okay. This all seems pretty familiar to you when you put your heads together. The smell and the blue color in the water suggests that these plants must be an alkaloid base, similar to opiate plants back on Earth. You can see some worn away rocks, and they look almost corroded or burned. The rocks where there's some dead roots around what it looks like a dead flower. There are the rock's been eroded or corroded away, burned away. If the plants are alkaloid based, do you then suggest that the yellow tinge might be caused by the interaction with turpentine, which you deduce must be naturally produced here somehow? And the bitter smell you think is nitric acid, which in and of itself isn't dangerous, not in terms of the atmosphere or the environment. Obviously, it's acidic, so you should manage it with care, but actually it doesn't make this environment particularly dangerous in and of itself.
So the air is kind of okay to breathe.
So the air should be okay to breathe on that analysis, yep. You also note that when turpentine and nitric acid interact with one another, they do have the potential to spontaneously ignite or explode.
Excellent.
But in an unconfined space like this, with the wind and all the rest of it, that shouldn't present too much of an issue.
I would like to see if I can pull Dimitri to one side and ask him,
Yep. Did you want to have a quiet chat with him?
if possible. Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Yeah.
Okay, let's take Oscar and Zaria off the screen for the moment, if we may, Matthew. Producer. Good. Yes, you can take him to one side. That's not a problem.
So, Dimitri, I think we can make some fine narcotics with this, correct?
Well, we'll have to do a bit more analysis, but yes, it's entirely possible that
That this could
there'll be
be
something
our...
we can do with these alkaloid-based plants' life to generate something. Yes, and I think, to be honest, I think it's actually a key part of our mission. So our mission is because everyone's getting grumpy and bored because of the crap food they have to eat. Well, having some, possibly more recreational organic substances will definitely improve the morale of the colony. I think it's for the good of the people.
I think we need to try and create an environment back at home for these to exist.
Well, I think definitely taking some of these back to study back at the colony is definitely a valid part of our mission, I think.
I think we need to at least get a couple of samples that we can either home grow or bring into a environment that they can be properly managed to.
Yeah, well, also you need to study the environment that these plants require to grow. And so, having some samples back at the colony where we can grow in different controlled environments, I think that's definitely an approach we should take.
I think, yeah. I'm just glad that we agree on the fact that this is a fine recreational drug source.
A definite opportunity to improve the morale of the people of the colony.
Perfect.
Definitely.
Thank you very much for your scientific input on the matter.
Cool. Right then, guys, how do you wish to proceed?
Well, I'm going to suggest that we act cautiously and over the couple of days try to learn how these plants react with their environment to grow and mature, to see if we can then reproduce it in another environment. I'm going to suggest that to the group, as I think that's a stable way to be able to keep this source.
So I'm just showing you the map again. If Matthew can bring that up. So yeah, you've parked, I guess, on the hex here, where on the O of shallow.
Yeah.
So you've got two big trees over here. You've got two or three smaller ones on this island here. A couple on the one above you. A few smaller ones on the island to your left as you're looking. A big one in the lagoon here, and a couple around the edge of this lagoon. And then there are smaller ones going basically as far as the eye can see. This is kind of a forest of these things, such as it is, because each of these trees doesn't get closer than about 30 meters to any other one.
That's interesting. I wonder if that's what to do with the size of the roots they need to.
The root systems. Could be.
I also wonder if it's the fact that they take up nutrients from the surface of the water, and they might be quite sparse nutrients, and so they can't actually survive in close proximity to another.
Maybe.
Maybe that
The
lagoon.
roots, are they right away on the seabed in the shallows underneath us?
There are roots there. There's not many there because they are growing out, obviously radiating out from where the trees are. You do. Okay. I mean, if I think you can probably see this. Some of them, quite a lot of them, they're sort of growing across the seabed, but a lot of them then grow down into the seabed itself. You can see that there is other sort of life forms there. There are sort of very small, sort of shrimp-like creatures that seem to be swimming around the roots as well. But you don't really see a lot of them, but you can definitely see a few.
So who wants to go rock pooling?
I might go for shrimp.
The shrimps would certainly be of interest. We're looking for a good source for the colony, yeah.
I mean, so are the trees. I'm just not sure. A small tree might be better because we don't have to reach up too far to the fruit.
Plus, smaller might taste better if we were following our old Earth saying.
Yeah, we should probably do some analysis first to just check what the
Let's make sure
nutritional value is. And don't forget, this is the area of toxic plants. So we need to
Yes.
make sure that before we just try eating one, we should probably do a bit of analysis of what it contains.
Dimitri, I think you're missing the point. They're highly beautiful.
Indeed. No, beauty doesn't matter. Nutritional
Taste,
value
though.
matters.
Taste.
Who would call a potato beautiful? I mean,
But would you call French fries beautiful?
No. So you've got your, again, I'm putting up the map again. So you have your, let me just zoom in slightly. You've got your pod here. At the moment, you've got your two dippers, basically, I guess, next to the hatches at either end of the pod. So people can get on and off the pod whilst the tide is up. And Ibeck and Callan are really keen to get a move on. Or Ozolinski is there with his dog barking, looking grumpy.
What's Ozolinski's job? Is he the scientist, or is he?
No, he's maintenance stroke security.
Ah, okay.
So he's basically there as a maintenance guy, but he's also kind of a heavy to protect the people.
Okay, so what's the first move then? I think we should probably, again, because these plants might have some kind of defensive mechanism, we should approach first in hazmat suits.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Also,
Yes.
they are,
Do we have like little kind of launch, a little boat we can go in from the dippers, or if we wanted to go to the kind of lagoon with the big trees to the kind of southeast of where we are, would we have to just take a dipper there?
I'd also like to raise the point of they're releasing high amounts of alkaloids.
Alkaloids, and there was turpentine as well, but the winds, as long as there's a breeze.
I'm more thinking the
They
fact
shouldn't
that we're going to be
explode.
wading through it.
Well, again, if we're wearing hazmat suits, that should be fine. Or
we hope.
even compression suits.
So
You hope, yeah.
you probably do have a couple of little. You've probably got one actually, kind of like a small rib, with a very small outboard motor. Probably two-person vehicle, I guess, that would have been packed in Ozolinski's dipper that you can use.
Okay, so shall a couple of us go to the big plants in that lagoon to the south?
I think we should monitor the water around the big trees before we go into it. Especially since it seems to have a different shade and it's got higher concentrations of colour. So it might be
Although
more
don't we think that's because of the alcohol? And we can go there and we can take samples of the water while we're there. We should anyway,
Yeah.
because we're going to want samples of the shrimps and the life that's kind of swimming around the roots of these trees anyway.
I'm just saying be careful, that's all.
No, I think that's wise words.
I don't want to have to deal with stress-related incidents of somebody burning their legs.
Okay, so who's doing what then?
So Xavier, what's your preference? What do you want to do?
The life forms do quite interest me.
The little shrimp.
Yes, I am. I mean, I certainly agree with the toxicology as well. I say we just look at. I'm quite interested in exploring the shrimp and then around the roots, just capturing a few.
I guess a couple of people could go in compression suits and go down to look at those, because those are under the water, and then a couple of us could go in the little boat to look at the plant above water.
Yeah.
Does that sound?
Yeah, I'm happy to go on either of those trips.
I'm happy to
Shrimp
go on
because I
either.
like shrimp, and fruit because, I'm a farmer.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we go and eat the fruit yet.
No, but I can have a look at
Go
them.
and see if the plant is going to find some way of defending itself. And
Yes, it's
Okay,
Take
the
some
scientists
samples
can go
of
to the plant.
Hey, we don't know if the shrimp can defend themselves either. So.
Yeah.
yeah, they could be vicious little bastards for all we know.
They could be eating throw suits.
Okay, so what was the upshot of that?
I'm going to go in a boat to have a look at some of the plants above water.
Okay, let me bring the map up again. Okay. Where are you going, Tone?
I'm
Dimitri?
initially going to head to the lagoon, to the big lagoon to the south, east of where we are, to that island in the middle.
This one here?
Yeah.
Yep, that's probably the biggest tree of all around here, that one.
I'm going to go have a look at the big tree first. I think on the way back, I might go and look at some of the smaller trees somewhere else, try and collect the smaller fruit. Might be easier to do, but I want to go.
Are you wearing a hazmat suit?
I'm wearing a hazmat suit, yeah, and I suggest whoever comes with me also wears a hazmat suit.
Okay, who's coming with you?
I'm happy to go, but
You go. I go diving.
Yeah,
I'm a therapeutics officer as well, so I really don't have too much input.
Can you remind me of the stats of the hazmat suit? Do you have them on you? Anybody?
No,
Is it the same as the
Can
alien?
find out.
yeah, I'll try and do a quick PDF real search.
yeah,
Military grade hazmat suit. What do you want to know? Armor rating? Air supply?
Armor, air. Yeah, those are the two.
Armor
things I need.
1, air supply 2, and
Yeah,
weight
cool.
2. If anybody needs that.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I need. Thank you. Okay. So Dimitri and somebody was going to the lagoon.
I guess Mikhail.
Yeah. Okay. What about the rest of you?
Xavier's interested in taking up a compression suit to go down to the salmon and try and capture some of the shrimp. Yep.
Should never dive alone, so I'll come along with him. Shrimp diving.
Okay. So the tide is kind of coming in at the moment, and
So what's
So
the
it's
depth of the water where we are?
it gets to a maximum of about 3 meters.
Almost
in the shallows
snorkeling.
there. So okay, cool. Let's go with Dimitri and Mikhail first then. So yeah, you could get across to here without too much trouble. There's it's only about 20 meters. It's not very far. The island, all of the rock around the island here does have roots on it that have obviously come up from inside the lagoon and are now coming over and then out into the water on the other side. So the water on the inside is obviously quite yellowy and orange with a few swirls of what looks like blue ink, really, but a blue color.
As we go, sorry to interrupt there. As we come across
Yeah, no.
there, presumably I'll have some sort of photographic equipment. I can take some pictures of the roots
Yeah,
as we
absolutely.
go. I want to basically just see how quickly they change and kind of compare them, the positions of the
Okay.
roots for the next day.
Yep, cool. But yeah, you can get to the rock there without too much trouble, and you're heading across towards the
The island in
towards
the
the
middle
tree
of
on there. So the water in the lagoon is only about 1 meter deep, but you are walking across what feels like very spongy.
Can we not get the boat across the?
Which
Take that.
Um,
Do we need to walk into the lagoon?
no, I think you could carry the boat across. I think that's fine.
We'll probably take the boat all the way to the island then if we can. Do you think?
Yeah, okay.
I think that's better. Yeah. This is the water I'd arguably like to avoid the most.
Okay, can I have observation roll, please? From make it a group one, so the person with the best observation out of the two of you.
I have 8 in observation.
Me
And I
neither.
think you can have a dice of help from those who are kind of watching from the science pod.
So 1 die of help, yeah?
From them, yep.
Can I have a die from Dean as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. Well, that's 1 success. Do I want to push that? I think I might push that actually at this point. Okay, now I have 4 successes.
Okay.
At the stress.
Yeah, take that stress. So as you are sort of getting into the water here and I guess using a paddle to get the boat across that relatively short distance, the wind seems to pick up and you can see the head the flower head of this plant, which is about probably 4 meters up, kind of looks like it turns, but then it looks like it's the wind, and suddenly a song seems to come from it, like a whistling, weird echoing kind of tune that it sounds like the wind is creating it, blowing through this plant. But then, like a wave of reaction, the tree nearest to it starts to sing as well, and then the trees nearest to that, and within a few moments, the whole air is full of this sort of whispering, calling, echoing, very spooky sound. Everybody hears it, and everybody takes a point of stress.
We're not underwater yet, then.
No, you're still prepping, I think.
Okay. But it's so beautiful.
I mean, if it's going through the trees, would the roots hum as well under the water? That's a good question.
Oh, you're a scientist on a scientific mission, so
I'm a
maybe you can find out.
Yeah. So why are you on this mission?
I'm not sure, but in case you need therapeutics, I guess.
Well, I think we know the real reason why you're on the mission.
Oh yeah, guaranteed.
It's because of aromatherapy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted some nice plants for my office, obviously.
Okay. Frank and Oscar and Xavier. Yeah, you're suited up. You can go under the water now if you wish, and you're searching for some of these creatures. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking in the ecosystem, that makes sense. So the roots, the creatures, observing them a bit. And I guess that Xavier might just be grabbing one or two.
Samples, yes. I've grabbed a couple of sample jars to capture them within the water as well,
Yeah.
so we can study.
Yeah. Okay. Can I have an observation roll from you two, please? Again, a group observation roll for the two. So the person with the highest observation can make the roll.
Now the shrimps are singing.
5.
Well, I've got 8 plus the 2 stress and the 1 extra. So,
Dance.
yeah. So, 2, 1 from there. So, 11 dice again. Wow, 1 success from 11 dice again.
That's enough.
Yeah, it's enough. It's enough.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There aren't many of these. These shrimpy things look almost like a cross between shrimps and ants. Difficult to, they're obviously a new kind of totally new species. Yeah, you managed to capture a few of those. They do vary in size from kind of the smallest ones you see are about the size of a fingernail. The biggest ones are about the size of your thumb. They seem to be playing in and around the. It can, if you want, Frank. In homage to our friend Thomas from Australia. And he managed to capture a couple of them. But
quite a lot of it to make a substantial meal, though, aren't he?
The main thing you do notice is that having gone down sort of where the pod is anchored, some of those roots have already started winding around the base, the anchor, where you've attached the science pod to the seafloor.
Gosh, they're active, those roots. That's unusual to have a root system move around that much.
Yeah.
Back to Mikhail and Dimitri. So yeah, you've got yourself just to the shore of the center of the lagoon.
Okay, and the plants, the big trees are all opening up and singing.
I'm still looking at it, like angled towards us. So.
Yeah, I mean they did seem to turn. You're not sure whether it was an active thing or whether just the wind picking up has caught it at a funny moment.
Maybe in case this is some kind of defensive reaction, it might be an idea to go and look at maybe some of the smaller trees first, get an idea of their anatomy. Do you think? I was a bit excited going straight for the big trees, but maybe that actually wasn't the best approach. You're not even a scientist, Oscar.
I mean, I don't have much input in this.
So yeah, I think we're going to back away a bit from these trees, as I'm concerned, there's going to be some. This is a
Okay.
defensive reaction that's going to launch
As you
something.
start, if you're still in the boat, as you start trying to push it back, the boat doesn't move.
We've been
Can we
cornered
have a look over the
by
side?
plants.
You can see that some of the roots beneath are beginning to wind into the underside of your boat.
Shall we leave?
Okay, that's probably bad.
Probably.
So we can't move the boat at all. How if we kind of bash them with
not
paddles,
gently.
can we kind of knock the roots away if they're not too far embedded in the boat yet?
I'll give you a close combat roll, both of you, to have a go.
Are you kidding?
How's
You
your
know
close
what?
combat?
Are you not
Terrible.
bothered to try, Mikhail?
I'll try.
Yeah, can we try one side each separately?
Oh yeah, why
Yes.
not? You go
Okay.
first.
Who's got the med kit?
I'm getting. I think
I
I'm
wish I
going to
did.
push that because I'm getting a little bit stressed. I think by this. I do get one success and no panic.
Well, I have almost as many stress dice as I have normal dice, so I'm going to push that as well. I now have as many stress dice as I have normal dice. I panic, but I do succeed.
Okay, roll your panic then, Dino.
7.
Okay, you get a nervous twitch. So your and Tony's stress goes up by 1 as you're bashing at this thing, these roots, but it doesn't seem to do any good. You knock one off, another one appears immediately. It seems to underneath. You can feel the boat kind of bobbing in the water a bit, as if there's pressure underneath on it, and you think that these roots have taken quite a liking to your boat.
Okay, so I think we might have lost the boat. The question is, do we get out and
Okay.
try and walk for it?
The boat is yanked downwards.
Yeah, let's
Okay, I think that
we
decision has been made for us.
just go. Yeah.
I think we're getting out of the boat. We're legging it.
Ozolinsky will not be happy, you know.
We've lost his boat.
We've lost one of his boats.
Okay, can I have a okay, you've got to jump over the side and then you've got to make a run. So can I have mobility rolls from both of you, please?
How's your mobility,
Counting
mate?
on the stress dice here.
Oh, I'm all good. 2 successes.
I've got 1 success and 2 panics.
Oh, good.
Okay, roll them both. Tell me what the worst one is.
The worst one is 10.
How are you that panicked already? What?
Freeze. Okay, Tone.
It's going badly already.
You tried to jump out of the boat, but you can't because the boat is in the water and it's being pulled under and there's water coming across. But you know that jumping out, that's jumping straight into all these things, and you just freeze on the boat as it's slowly being pulled down to the bottom. I mean, the water is only about a meter deep here, but still, you're kind of in the water. It's now lapping up against you. Dino, you succeeded, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get help.
Up by the tree, on the tree, you hear a pop,
Oh, dear.
and you can feel just tiny bit of heat. And one of those bulbs, one of the small ones, has popped in a bit like, if you had a balloon with hydrogen in it and you set it on fire, it pops like that. And loads of these little spore-like things come out.
Ooh, nice.
And spread over the area. You're far enough away that the flame doesn't bother you in the slightest. I wonder if that should give you +1 stress. No, I won't make you take a +1 stress there.
Okay.
But yeah, Dean, I think we're just going to pop into initiatives here for the moment.
You got cards or dice?
Yeah. How are your shrimps? It's going really well over here.
So, Mikhail, you're on 3s. Dimitri, 9s. And they go on 5.
There's more than
Well,
one? What?
The plant goes on 5. It kind of has more than one action. Well, actually,
Oh, great.
it does have more than one action. So it goes on 5s and 10s.
Jeez.
And it's Dean, it's your action. By the way, Xavier and Oscar, if you can probably hear this over your comms. If you want to get involved, then you can draw an initiative as well, of course.
I look at Xavier and say, "Are we done shrimp collection?"
Well, have we captured? That was the thing we were observing.
I think you've probably got a jar with a few of them in it.
That's fine.
Not many, but a few.
It's enough.
You sure?
Well,
Okay, that's whilst you're having this conversation, you don't get back this round, guys.
Yeah, well,
Just
Okay,
he was screaming help over the radio, and you're just going, we could use a couple more.
We got enough shrimps? Go on then, Mikhail, it's your action.
I'm going to try and command Dimitri so he's not frozen. That would be really helpful.
You can do that. That's a slow action, I think, isn't it? Command.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yes, it is, because there's a talent to make it a fast action.
I think I'm just going to look back and say, get a fucking move on.
Make your command roll.
And I'm going to push. The most stressful thing I'm ever going to do is running away from a plant. Oh wow, okay, I still don't succeed. I do have a panic this time though.
You do.
Yeah, my panic that's 6.
Okay, you're holding it together, but yeah, you've been unable to help Dimitri. You still have a fast action.
Yeah, I'm walking to the others. I'm getting out of here. That's
You're making a run for it. Okay. Okay, that's cool. 5s, they go next. So one of them is going to go for you, Dino. One of them's going to go for the boat with Tony. Do you want to roll your signature attack?
I'll let you. I don't mind.
Let me.
I always roll either 1s or 6s. I'd rather have something in the middle.
Okay. As you're running, as you're kind of splashing, wading through the water, the roots are trying to get around your ankles, but they're not grabbing. You hear what sounds like a bullwhip, but nothing. You don't feel anything. I guess.
Wait.
Some of the Ozolinsky and the others back at the pod go, "Oh shit! Get out of there!"
So, I hear a bullwhip from under the water. That's terrifying. That's
No,
gonna
you're not underwater. It's only a meter deep for you. So.
Yeah, but
How
I
tall are
imagine
you?
the actual whip is right.
Pardon?
Like, I imagine the root that just whipped was from underneath the water.
No,
It was probably the
this
plant.
was behind you.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fine.
The Triffid, John Triffid on the island behind you.
So I think if Tony wasn't frozen, he would probably have seen it because it went past him going after you.
I'd also like to say, someone freaking called it in the chat. Triffid.
I know.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to give it the whipping frond thing, but I ran out of 6 things to put on the table, so I thought I'd go for it then. I might not roll it anyway. And Tony, it's your action. But I think having frozen, you lose your slow.
So I have a fast action, which means I can move though, can't I?
Yes,
That's
you can make a
fast
run
action.
for it.
So I shall make a run for it. That is what I shall do. Do I need to do another military roll?
I think I'll need another mobility roll.
So I get no successes, but no panic. So I'm getting very stressed, but I'm going to push.
You think you're getting stressed?
Yes, I think I'm getting stressed. That is exactly what I. That's better. I now get 3 successes and no panic.
Okay, yeah, you managed to jump out, and you're heading across. But the roots or the plant does, with its second action, try and stop you. Do you want to roll yours, Tone, or shall I?
Go on, I'll do it.
Okay.
4.
You hear more of this song, kind of goading and teasing you. You gain an extra point of stress as you hear it.
I need a lie down urgently.
As you're doing that, you can hear the gunning of Ozelinski's engine, and he's leaving. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's bringing his dipper across, and Ibeck and Cullen are jumping out to come and try and help you get away. It's your action. It's their action. It's Dean's action.
I have. So he's not going to be frozen this round anyway, is he?
No,
No, he's
I'm
splashing in the
unfrozen
water behind you at the moment.
Oh, I'm just going to book it then.
there. Seems wise.
Oh, I don't want to get bull whipped.
Okay, as you get to the edge, I'm going to share the map again. So as you kind of get to the edge of the lagoon, the activity of the plant seems to die down. The whip thing that came flying out of the basically the petal, the flower head, went about 20 or 30 meters, but was too far away from Maya when you were running. And it all suddenly seems to start settling down a bit, and the water begins to settle, and the roots seem to stop behaving particularly badly, and it all quietens down.
How does the boat look?
The boat is underwater. You can't see it.
Oh,
I think we've lost the boat. I say.
Well, if it's a rib, it might pop back up now.
What you do see,
Well, there might have a few holes.
what you do see from the edge, because this is an inflatable rib, you see a lot of air bubbles suddenly come up.
All right. Sorted.
yeah.
Xavier and Oscar, what are you doing?
I think we might be going back up. What do you think?
Going back up, but just is the on the observation, because we saw the roots hooking onto the anchor, are they settled down now?
Yeah, you can't visibly see it growing or visibly see it moving, but you think it's moving probably as fast as it can do without it being visible. So you think it's still just attaching to it as part of the environment.
Right. So we'll need to make sure we break that, yeah. Because if we might go anywhere, move anything, we're going to have to make sure we break that later. So we're going to have to come back down here. Probably try and capture some, if it's possible, and the shrimps are still there. See if we can try and get any more, and then head back up. Well, if they are different sizes.
You're really keen on it. Okay, good.
Yeah.
You're right. Different sizes, shrimp, prawn. We need to cover the spectrum.
Well, also, is it like a colony of a mix between shrimps and ants?
Scientist speaking.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to make you make a roll for that, Xavier. I think you can scoop up a few more. You have equipment that's designed to capture these kind of creatures, so I think that's don't need to make you roll for that one.
Okay, we'll get out, and then we'll head up.
Okay.
Just waiting for them to spring some tentacles and attack you. Okay.
Okay. What are you doing?
Oh,
well, I don't know about you guys, but I need to lie down.
I definitely need to lie down.
well,
Yeah,
I'm
so
quite keen to actually jump into the studying of the shrimps. I'm just one of these people who just wants to throw himself into the work.
Yeah, let's get back up. Let's
Yeah,
I
get
was
we'll head
very-
back up and do it.
see what happened up there.
Yeah.
I was keen until I saw flammable explosive balloons and bullwhip tendrils. And the boat getting crushed. That wasn't a highlight either.
So do we get back to the
you can Ozelinski can take you back over there.
do we think we should move maybe up, try and uproot yourselves and just go and anchor a little bit offshore from these islands, because if these roots are going to be wrapping the feet of the science thing, and they're going to basically end up getting it stuck here, and maybe even if considering what they did to that little boat, eventually they might do some serious damage. What do you think?
The first question is, do we even think we can anchor it now that it's got its grasps on it?
Oh, you'd have to remove the roots somehow, cut them off or untangle them. But yeah, it's designed to be. You've anchored it. It's anchored very securely, but it's kind of a temporary anchor, so you can move it.
Do we want to move it then, do you think?
Particularly with Oscar's excellent roll.
Anchored it too well, Oscar. Should have done a sloppier job.
Come on, it was excellent. It wasn't over the top. It was just as much as it needed to be anchored.
An elegant sufficiency.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now we can take some cutting equipment if we need to see if we can actually cut away the root.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've probably got even just some knives and things. Yeah.
Is this the right area now? Does the science team actually want to stay here?
Well, I think we definitely want to study these, as you say, the plants of this ecosystem here. But I think maybe we actually want to stay a little way outside this area and then come in to do the studying rather than actually staying within it, because that feels like that might be a bit dangerous to stay for an extended period.
I think that's wiser.
I'm sharing the map again for you guys. If you
Going
can
to
see
the
it.
outer edge of this map, basically.
Yeah, just somewhere a little bit away from where the outermost roots are that we can see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. That's not going to be a huge problem. The water does get a little bit deeper as you go further out, but nothing that you can't handle. You can cope with that.
So do we manage to free the science module from the roots wrapped around it?
Who's going down to do that?
I don't think I'm. I think I'm going to lie down because I'm.
I need to lie
very
down.
stressed after my experience.
We are still in our diving suits, so we might as well try.
Well, give us support. Yeah.
Is there any advice the others would give us about how to deal with the roots?
Go get whacked.
It's probably good to get a sample of the roots as well.
Well, I think definitely we want to get a sample of these plants, but I think the first thing to do is to make sure that we're safe.
Also,
You're safe. That's why you're sending us down.
Yeah, so you guys go and sort that out. I'm just going to go and lie down here.
Yeah.
Follow this. Let's give this a go, Xavier. What do you think?
Okay.
I'll make sure that they know that the fruits seem to have a sort of gas in them after they popped.
Well, if we're underwater, hopefully that's not going to be a huge problem because we're going to have some
Hopefully not.
breathing apparatus.
Yeah, you didn't. When you were underwater before, you didn't see any of those bulbs underwater.
Yeah.
Right.
You've only seen them actually on the trees themselves.
Come on, let's cut the dipper loose.
Yeah.
What have we got? We've got some big knives, I suppose, some diving knives or something.
Yep. So there are a few roots that are attached to the anchors, but they're not difficult to cut, so you can cut through them without too much bother.
A sample, Xavier?
Yeah. Well, I've got another sample in a wee jar.
You can absolutely do that. Absolutely. As you're doing that, can I get you to make an observation roll, please?
Okay.
Again, a group
Scientist is
observation.
better.
Person with the highest observation.
Oh,
Yeah.
that will be the scientist.
And a bonus as well with Oscar being there, or not?
Yes, you can get +1 for Oscar's help.
Okay. A success, but also a stress die.
So roll your panic.
7.
7. Okay, you get a nervous twitch. Your stress level and as does Oscar's goes up by 1.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the reason you do that is as you're cutting these roots, you can see sort of where the roots have come from, and obviously the root bed gets thicker and thicker the closer it gets to the land and the lagoon. From within that, you can see a lot of these shrimp ant things heading in your direction, like a little swarm or a little horde of them.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think we've angered the nest.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, well,
So you need to make a heavy machinery roll to release the anchor if you wish to do that at this point still.
Yes, let's try and remove the anchor. I guess that falls to me.
yeah.
Can I have a helper or not?
Well, I'll help as I can in following these instructions.
So I've
Yeah,
got two
so
stress dice.
these things are going to reach you the round after you've made this roll.
One assist roll?
You get one extra dice, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Let's have a look. It's a nice handful. So that is 1, 2, 3 successes, no panic.
Okay, yeah, you managed to unclip that, undo what you did before really quickly. But this little swarm is kind of on top of you, and they are going to make an attack on you both. So they you're right. They've obviously been angered by what you've done to the roots, and they are swarming towards you.
Maybe we should have sung to the roots.
Well, we didn't have the recorder on. That's unfortunate. So we didn't capture the sound frequency.
It's a scientist speaking.
Okay,
Yeah.
So Oscar, these things are on you, and you are taking 2 points of damage.
Get off.
Your compression suit, I think, has 2 points of armor though.
Right. Are you rolling that?
And one for you, Xavier. You take 1 point of damage as these things are trying to basically eat their way through your
2
through your
damage.
suit.
I got a success on the armor.
I didn't.
Okay, yeah.
Let's get up quickly. I'm sure.
Yeah, get up. I don't think they'll survive out of the water.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need a mobility roll to get away, guys.
Mobility. All right. Mobility.
Okay.
Mobility. Oh,
4.
that's not a lot.
Yeah, well, 4 dice plus the 3 stress.
Yeah, 3 stress. I didn't get another stress, did I? 2 stress.
Mikhail and Dimitri, I think with the preparation for doing all this, you've had 1 turn of rest, so you get 1 point of stress back so far.
One.
I had 1 success. Is that enough?
Yeah, I got
Yes.
1 success.
Yeah, it's a bit like, in those movies where, there's a shark behind somebody as they're kind of desperately getting out of the water. And these things are still on you. And whilst they're still on you, they're sort of still nipping and biting at your suits and your outfit, but they begin to fall off.
Try to brush them.
They don't seem to suffer too much by being out of the water, from what you can tell. Ozalisky had been connecting up the pod to his dipper, and he's like, shall we go?
Yes. If you ask me.
Yeah.
I'm not the commander or anything, but yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah, and you managed to get away, and as you are coming away from that, the water in the area around where you had parked your pod is obviously got quite a lot of these creatures in it, but quite soon that subsides and the water again calms to just the ripples of the wind. It's starting to get dark now, so the sun will be setting fairly shortly.
Do we actually run it as very, very short days, or do we basically take a light night cycle as one day, like a 20-hour day? How do we operate?
The colony operates on a 20, 24-hour basis, pretty much.
Right.
So, one day you'd have a night in the middle of your day, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. Siesta. It's called siesta. So are we back on board?
Yes, you're on board. You managed to get the pod and your dippers out of that lagoon area.
Good.
To a point where you can't see any roots.
I just do a quick inspection, swimming around the dipper if I need to see whether there's any roots still attached or anything like that.
No, it all looks free.
Good.
All looks clear. And you do have some samples, Xavier, from that.
Excellent. I will want to study them, but not a man who likes to rest. I want to learn as much as possible, as quickly as possible.
Okay, so you're going to work through the night. Did you want to make a with a shift's worth of analysis, which I'm going to say for ease of sense that a shift in this campaign is 5 hours, because that makes sense, because that's the length of a day or a night. You can then make a roll for your analysis on these and see how many successes you get. But in the meantime, while Xavier is doing his analysis, it's gone dark. What do the rest of you want to do for that 5 hours?
Well, I need to rest at least for an hour, because I'm a bit of a gibbering wreck after that experience.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind resting a little bit, and maybe somebody could have a look at my shrimp bites so they don't get infected.
I'm happy to have a look at your shrimp bites if need be.
Please do. Put some lavender oil on them.
Did you bring lavender oil? Or are we
Well,
getting
you're the
familiar by plants?
aromatherapist, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, here, sniff these hot stones. That'll make you feel a lot better.
Yeah, indeed.
Breathe in and out. How do you feel better?
I'm probably just as capable medically as you, but it's always easier to have somebody else look at your wounds.
I think I'm pretty.
You do get a request from Zenaida Ibeck to stay on your dipper, Oscar, with you, because it seems that she's had an argument with Ozolinski.
Ah, he's a bit of a pain, isn't he? Have you got room for her? Zybeck is a woman, is she?
Yes.
Good. Have you got room for her?
Yes, there's room for a sixth person.
So she wants to come on to Oscar's dipper.
Yeah.
I'm just asking my crew, basically. Are you okay with that?
Hey,
Yeah,
it's your
fine.
dipper. I've got no problem.
Yeah, we're going to need. We're going to need.
Bring
There's
her
going to be
over.
5 of us on here when we head back anyway, aren't there? So
Yeah.
fine.
So she can be granted asylum. That's fine.
So she's okay. So that's great. She's very grateful.
She didn't leave the dipper, did she?
No, she was in the science pod, and then she got into Ozolinski's dipper when you were moving the pod, and it was obviously in that period.
No, sorry, just me being paranoid whether she had plucked one of the fruit or something.
Right. Okay. You don't think so? Not that you're aware of.
Well, the Adam and Eve story, you never know.
You did spend some time underwater, and no, her name isn't Eve. And there aren't any snakes here yet. That might be next week.
What do you want about? We've got huge snakes to the North Ocean.
There's
Well,
that
they're kind of
famous story,
worms.
isn't there? Snakes on a dipper.
Doesn't have quite the same ring.
Right,
to
guys,
it,
what are
though.
you doing? Let's okay. If we're descending into this, let's make Bruce. How many successes did you get?
I got 1. I did get 2 face huggers as well in the stress, and 6 was the highest I got.
Right. Okay. So you're holding it together. So yeah, on the analysis, it looks as if, from what you can tell, that these shrimp or shrimp ants or whatever they are, they obviously live in colonies. They're fine in water. They seem to be fine out of water. They appear to feed on, as far as you can tell, they're quite happy eating the roots of this plant. You can tell also that there are definite opiate and psychedelic properties with the plant, and you've kind of postulated that those pulsing orbs are probably they've thrown something out. They seem to be spore pods.
Right.
That's pretty much what you find out in your 5 hours of analysis.
Okay.
In that time, can I rest enough to get rid of my stress?
Yes.
Over
And
to you,
Frank,
Mike.
you only got your 2 hit points back for
Thank you.
resting.
And stress as well?
Yes.
Excellent.
A new day. Time to go get whipped by a plant.
So yeah, the sun rises again.
So I definitely want to go in and get at least one sample of one of the smaller plants, and or a spore pod. I'm going to have to do that quite carefully.
I'd say very carefully.
Presumably, in our science pod, we've got kind of sample storage containers that are big enough and
Yeah.
robust enough. They're the biggest, most robust metal container. Because if these roots, if they eat through that boat, they're going to potentially eat through a container we put them in. So we want to make sure it's something that they can't eat through.
You do have kind of all the standard kind of scientific stuff. Whether it can resist a formerly unknown alien life form eating through it, you just don't know at this stage.
You won't be able to find out.
I have a
So
very
that's
strange
my objective for the next day. Are we going to anchor the science module here a little way off the island? I think
so. Probably wiser.
You can definitely do that. Yep.
And the guys who are supposed to be staying,
Yeah.
I guess they have to think about if this is where they want to stay or whether we want it after we've finished whatever we want to do here. If they want to try and look for somewhere else to have their more permanent base.
Yes. So that's going to be Ozolinsky, Chan, and Ibeck are supposed to be staying.
Should we take precautions for the singing trees? Do we have headphones and really loud music?
Well, it might be useful to actually capture some sounds. It may be good to record them and be aware and make other colonists aware.
That would be good. Yeah.
Very much. I mean, the sounds, apart from getting us stressed, didn't have any direct effect on us today.
Didn't seem to.
I think it was kind of more like a warning to the other trees.
Were
And
they
you probably
harmonious?
suspect that once, not so much. I don't know. Do you remember as a kid? Oh, me and Tony might. You had this big plastic flexible wooden pipe, and if you swirl it around your head, it makes woo kind of noises. It was kind of similar to that. So if that makes sense to anybody watching or listening.
Absolutely. Will already posted something like that.
Okay, cool. I'm not really keeping up with the chat. But you think that probably once you've heard it once now, you probably wouldn't get stressed with it again, unless something else happened, of course. But
Possibly.
So anyway, my plan is to go back and try and get a sample of a small plant. Try and stay away from the big ones. Anyone fancy coming with me?
Sure. That went so well for both of us last time. Why not?
I'd just like to seek an opportunity to speak to Zinaida Ibeck.
yeah, you can
While
definitely
we are
do that.
resting, maybe at the night, and just say, so what happened between you and Ozolinsky?
He's a pig.
Well, that's well known, but you're supposed to stay with him for a few months, right?
I'm not looking forward to that. He's made advances in the past, and I made it absolutely clear that I'm not interested in him, and he kind of won't let it go.
He's still going on about that.
Yeah, we had an argument about it.
We may have to speak to our therapist about that.
But
Relationship advice not included.
You got a therapist either.
What could
I can try.
He's the kind that only prescribes chemical solutions to the therapy problems
Well,
for a fee.
Maybe if Ozolinsky takes some of the chemicals, that might work.
But she says, "Look, I'll stay on here as long as you stay, and then
And then
It'll be all right, I'm sure. I just couldn't cope with it yesterday with everything that was going on.
Make sure you're safe.
Probably.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
All right.
And learn how to drive a dipper, so if you need to, you can steal his.
Yeah, because presumably, have we got one little boat left, or do we only have one of those? Are we going to have to take a dipper into the to try and get my sample?
Yes, you only had one of those.
Okay.
Oh, that's not good.
So yeah, Oscar, do you fancy bringing your dipper in a bit closer?
Shall we ask? the
Quick
other
in.
guy-
Well, I'd rather not.
Sorry, what was that, Dean? You're quite quiet.
Shall we ask the other dipper driver? As this one's got most of our actual team on it, it makes sense to have the fewer participants on the raft. driven
Ozolinsky.
toward-
So I've put-
Ozolinsky.
So I've put the map up again, guys. If you can see it.
Nope.
Not yet.
Nope.
Yeah, Matthew.
There we go.
There it is. Mm-hmm.
So maybe
So-
we should get Ozolinsky to drive us closer.
Yeah, I think that would be sensible.
Simply because if we do end up in a state of panic again, we don't want more people involved in that panic.
Well, presumably, Ozolinsky could panic as well as anyone else.
He's got
And
a
the
Yes,
other-
but you need to understand that 3 people panicking is better than 8.
Well, we're not going to take both dippers in, are we? I wouldn't have thought.
No.
But if they want to stay here with the science pod, they need to find a good spot with it. So when they go, if Ozolinsky goes back in now, does he leave the science pod behind? I take it.
Yeah, so I think the science pod, I mean, it's up to them where they put it, and they probably won't listen to my advice because Ozolinsky's a stubborn git.
Well,
But
yes,
I
but-
would suggest that they leave if this is where they're going to stay, they keep the science pod kind of where it is now, outside that
yeah.
little set of islands, because
Sounds
otherwise
good.
it'll just get knackered by the
Okay.
by the
I'm
reeds.
just going to put the map back up again whilst you're discussing that. I will leave you to it for just 2 minutes.
I just say that we are supposed to go back to our base. Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't want our dipper to be damaged in any way, or limited in range, or carry a defect or something. They are supposed to stay here anyway. They've got time to fix it. So let
Yeah, plus
Ozolinsky
they've
take it
bought
over.
enough fuel to do anything useful with it anyway. So yeah, that's valid
Ozolinsky
because they
needs
didn't listen to my advice today. They do.
Ozolinsky does need a motivational factor. As far as I can tell, he just likes his dog.
Well, he also seems to like Zinaida Ibeck.
That's true.
Yes, I did not reciprocate it.
Can we abuse that notion?
It probably sounds as a therapist. That probably sounds a really bad idea. Not something that you should be suggesting.
That is not something. Yeah, where I come from, there's laws against that sort of thing.
Well put. Couldn't
Yeah.
have said it better.
That
Yeah.
is very fair.
No.
So we're going to try and get Ozolinsky to take us in then.
I think it's the better option of the two.
And you guys, you are the lab coats, you're the experts here, but is it really safe to leave these guys here?
Not really.
So close to a, potentially dangerous ecosystem or whatever this is?
I don't think it's potentially dangerous. I think it is dangerous.
Well, everywhere is dangerous, isn't it, on this planet?
Of
I
course,
guess we
we
could.
need to make progress. We need to find out how these ecosystems work. But I'm
The
just
alternative,
thinking-
I guess, is to find some other islands, see if there's anywhere that's a bit safer where they could stay longer term. You see what they think. I mean, they're obviously the 2 scientists on that team that are staying. They can probably make a judgment themselves.
Well, you are the lead scientist, aren't you, Dimitri?
I am the lead scientist. That's right. Yes.
But he's not staying. That's the issue.
We could choose to stay. So who's staying? Kalin and Ibeck, right?
Kalin Ibeck and Ozolinsky, and presumably Ozolinsky's dog. Although, see how you can exercise your dog out here.
I don't get his own dog.
Take
Could
it
be salty dog.
It's going to run around and probably get eaten by plants. I hate
not-
to say it, but
It's a sea dog.
It won't be a sea dog for very long.
Up the old sea dog, eh?
Swim around.
Yes.
Not
Where
gonna-
is the
not
sea
gonna
dog
last
normally
long.
this time of day?
Well, normally he's in bed with the captain. Sorry, obligatory Blackadder quote. You'll get used to that. Right then, your plan,
have to.
guys. So I think have you anchored the pod sort of 30 or 40 meters off, or is it not anchored
Yes.
yet?
I think
I think
Okay.
we've anchored it. Would
Oh,
you like
anchored
me
it,
to do another anchoring?
No, I think you're probably okay there now, Frank. There's no plants or roots there to get in the way.
Good.
So I'm going to share the screen again. What's the plan?
so. Basically, I
I
want
would
to get a sample of a. Sorry, Dean. You go.
I would like to talk to Orlinsky, I believe it is, to
Orlinsky.
try and get him to take us over to get the sample.
Well, I'm the lead of the mission. He'll just do what I tell him. That's how it works.
Yeah, right. Like he got more fuel, like you told him.
Yeah. That was advice. That wasn't an order.
Yeah,
This is not-
Osolinsky is happy to. Happy. He will comply. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're not going to hang around. We want to get in, grab a sample, and get out as quickly as possible. So we're going to look for somewhere where there's a smaller sample of these trees as far away as possible from the larger trees.
Oh, I see.
So in terms of this map here, this island here in the top left,
Yeah.
has got a few smaller ones. The amount of the kind of the depth or the how deep the roots are is obviously less because there are less roots for a smaller tree. So this island here is probably your best bet.
Okay. So you take some sort of digging tool then to try and dig the roots up. I'd rather not cut the roots. I'd rather bring them intact if I can.
I'd also
Okay.
like to mention that in damaging the roots before, they summoned a swarm of prawns.
Well, yes, they're part of the
They're part of the
ecosystem with
ecosystem.
it. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So we want to do it really quick then is the
we want to
plan.
not damage the roots.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, I'd rather don't
Okay.
damage it anyway because I want to have it as intact a sample as possible. But yeah, we want to basically go up the island, park the dipper, get out, get a plant in a big, very secure sample box, and get out again as quickly as possible. Is the plan.
What
Oh,
happened last time you approached the plants again?
Those
We-
are the
we nearly
big
tried.
plants, though. Those are the massive plants. These are only little ones we're going for now. They'll be fine.
they'll only crush half our bones.
Okay.
We're not
good.
going to.
You're
You're the
going for one
scientist.
so the smallest one you can see is about the height of a 10-foot child, so maybe 2 feet.
10-foot child.
Oh my god!
What are they?
It's been a long day. It's been a long day.
10-year-old child.
Of a child of 10 feet. Of a 10-year-old child. So it's probably 2.5 feet, 3 feet at the most.
Okay. Yeah,
Well,
that's
That's a very short 10-year-old, isn't it?
10-year-old. Yeah.
It's about 3 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10-year-old halfling, yeah.
Just before you go in, do the dippers have video and audio as well, just so we can try and record it equipment to see what happens with the plants as well, like a wildlife
have
documentary.
audio?
Yeah, video and audio, or even on the hazmat suits, if we've got anything, so we can also capture the sounds and get a video recording.
I think you've definitely got equipment for recording. You might have to kind of use it rather than it's not kind of just automatically attached to the tractor.
Well, I've got the survey kit on the tractor, so that might help. But it's not
Yes,
on my tractor.
that's
That's on mine, isn't it? The other one is long range exploration.
I have my computer terminal as well. So could I record things on that?
No, not in the right kind of way. You do have equipment in the science pod that you could use for this, but somebody would need to go with it. Maybe
Could I
sit on
bring
the
it?
roof of the tractor or something.
I'll go on the roof. I've not.
Because I think I'm going to want
Nobody just tell me to sleep or anything because he's just a hard worker. So that's what he does.
because I'd quite like somebody else to come with me to dig round the roots to try and get the plant out as quickly as possible. You fancy doing that?
I'll come with you for that. I'm not.
And
the-
what skill will that be?
Survival?
That's a good call. I would say It's not really any of them, is it?
No.
Survival or stamina, I guess.
I think stamina probably
Yeah.
actually.
Why does it have
just
to be stamina?
the weight of moving stuff.
Yeah. So who's strong that can come and help? And
Well,
is
I would
objective
be
volunteer.
strong to come and help, but I want to look after my tractor.
I'll
I
come and help.
suppose.
I'm not strong though.
I can come and help, I suppose. I'm good with a shovel.
Your dipper's not going anywhere. It's just going to be parked, isn't it? So
Yeah, okay. If you're good with it, you science boffins, you do your digging.
I'm
Okay.
a therapy.
So all of you are going with Ozolinski driving. Yeah, is that right?
yes.
I believe so.
Yeah.
All
I
of
think
us.
so. Yeah. So you coming, Oscar, to help with the digging? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm bringing my shovel.
Good. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Xavier, you're on the roof.
Recording. Excellent.
Yeah.
Don't fall
Okay.
in.
Can I bring the amazing folding spade?
The power spade.
It has been nerfed, you know, so yes, you can.
How many spades do we have? This is important.
You have enough.
Okay.
No
Yes.
more and no less.
So, a spade is one weight, right? So I'm carrying 3.
Okay. Not sure why you need 3 spades, but
Just in case one breaks. You never know.
okay. Ozolinski is like, are we ready to go or what?
Yeah, go.
I think so. Yeah. We're ready. Let's go.
Okay, yeah, he moves quite slowly. It's not a good drive. It's a bit jerky, but it's good enough. And I'm sharing the map again, and it brings you to this northern shore of the island, and there is a plant, kind of right in the middle, about, well, maybe a bit closer than that. It's probably 20 meters, 15 meters from the edge.
Those of us leaving the dipper, let's go and wear hazmat suits.
Right.
Us
So
3
we've
then.
got 3 suits, right?
Yeah.
And
So
3 of you.
Xavier is filming from the distance.
Yeah.
The running commentary.
David Attenborough time.
Connor
Okay,
has the idea.
I am going to run this like an initiative. So, Tony, you're on 3.
Woo!
Dean, you're on 4.
I don't like where this is going.
Frank,
You're on 1.
you're on 1.
Hey, I'm the fastest stick.
And other things that might do stuff are on other things.
Does Bruce get an initiative?
Uh,
Sitting on the roof. Is he out of it?
Bruce, you're on 8.
yeah.
See, we're going to start and he's not going to press record.
You need to do it again.
No.
You need it for the funny videos of the colony.
You can do stuff in advance. It's fine. And Ozolinski is on 9. Should it be necessary? Yeah. So the plant is there. The weather today is still quite clear. Yeah. Ones, Frank. You. Get
So what do you want me to dig again? I just look at the scientist.
Yeah,
want me-
let's get out of the thing, head for this nearest plant, small plant, and start digging around the roots. So we want
you
to
want to
basically dig up.
basically retrieve the whole plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got a big box for it to go in.
Okay, I'll start digging around the plant, around the roots, roughly where I think the roots are. So I don't want to injure the roots. I want to dig them out.
Yeah, that is the objective. Yes.
Okay. The roots do run all the way down to the water, so the root systems are very long.
Okay, I'll just loosen them up, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. They do also go into the ground as well.
What I'm trying to not to do is to hack through them. I'm just basically trying to remove the earth around them.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we have
Like
excavation tools? For example, what they would use to excavate fossils and skeletons. And let's treat this like a full excavation. Like brush it. Let's do everything.
I'm not sure we have time for that, do we? We want to be.
You
It
maybe know
depends
that
what
these
they're
roots
doing.
move.
If they don't attack until we hurt the root, we're fine to do it for as long as we need.
I see. So your intention is to tickle the roots, so they start
Yeah,
withdrawing. I'll just start digging.
yeah, probably is best. It would take a long time.
Okay, Oscar, can you make a stamina roll, please?
I can. That is 7 dice, and my stress is gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's have a look. That is absolutely no success at all.
Okay, did you wish to push? Or
I
did you
don't see the
panic?
point of pushing here, to be honest.
No, it's entirely up to you.
I might just find it exhausting and get a blister. I mean, right?
Okay. Right, twos. As you are working on this plant, so it's quite small. It does have some of these spore bulbs that you've seen before. As you are sort of moving it, you kind of nudge it, and the spore bulb at the top, which would be the biggest one, but this one is quite small compared to the size of some of them. It explodes right in your face.
We are wearing hazmat suits.
Yep. So
What could possibly go wrong?
Frank is the only one there at the moment.
The benefit of the first initiative.
You don't take any damage from the little gout of flame that comes from it, but your hazmat suit is covered in these spores, these sort of sticky little fluffy things. They're all slightly singed, but not very. And you've been right in the middle of this spore explosion.
Oh dear. Someone needs to clean that off.
Dimitri, it's your action.
All I hear is quarantine.
Yeah, I'll run over and... Well, I guess having seen this thing explode, presumably, can I see if I can wipe these things off Oscar's hazmat suit?
He's covered in them. This is more than just a quick kind of job.
Is it a fourth
Okay, in that case, I'll start digging. And I'll say to Oscar, I think you should go back in, get that suit off, and get it in some sort of.
Do you think would be sensible to wash it off in the water?
No,
Decontamination.
I honestly
I
don't.
think we should definitely find a way to wash it off.
I'll give it a go. I'll just wait a little bit in the water, knee depth, and see whether I can wash this stuff off.
Just hold on for
Okay.
1 second.
So that'll be anyway. So we're kind of in initiatives here. So you've only got a few seconds.
Yeah, on you go.
Please. So
Yes, I'm going to start digging, but I'm going to say that. So
yeah,
I'll
that's
go,
cool.
go and do something with your suit.
So this
The
plant
stamina
does have other spore bulbs, but that was the biggest one that popped.
Got it.
Right, so yeah, your action turn. A stamina roll, please.
One success, which I've got no. Should I push that? No, probably that number of dice probably not worth it. I'll stick with the one success.
Okay, yeah, you sort of your spade is beginning to worry at it. You've got a bit more work to do before it's going to come up. Okay, Maya, your action. You do
I
the same.
guess. Yeah, I'll try and carefully dig with my shovel. I don't want to. I'd rather do too little than too much. That's for sure. I'm not gonna push, and I don't have anything.
No successes.
There's no point on pushing with how many dice I have.
Okay. As you're there, Dean. The roots aren't going for you, but you kind of got yourself caught in them a little bit. They've all got little hooks and little barbs on them, and they've caught on your suit, and that's giving you a -1 to your agility. Unless you want to try and break them, in which case it's a stamina roll. So basically, it's a bit like going through brambles here, and you suddenly you've got them all caught to your suit. But these are around this is around your legs and your ankles.
Like
Well, I'm
birds.
going to die here.
It is space Velcro. As you just came up on.
Very good.
Okay, Xavier, it's your action. You are. I guess are you recording?
Yeah, well, the recording button was pressed, so you said that. I'm thinking because I'm so far back, using my command. It's not great, but maybe help somebody out for dodging any attacks. That's what I'm thinking here.
Okay, yeah, you can do that.
Give a command who is for Oscar if he's needing help to avoid because he was the closest to help with any
Bit late,
mobility.
isn't it?
It's a bit late, yes. Well, actually,
It's a sarcastic command. Dodge! Dodge, mate!
uh,
Don't go there. Okay.
Yeah.
What's
Whatever
your
you,
command then,
Any
Xavier?
helpful command?
whatever you do, do not pick it up. So let's try and give a command to give orders to help with your mobility next time round. 2 successes, so it's 2 + 1s.
It's a very clear order.
Okay, yeah, and that was for what was the order again?
It's for mobility, so dodging and watching out for any of the spores.
Right. Okay. So
Like,
it's
yeah.
okay.
Is
Cool.
it to everybody, or do you have to
No,
eliminate
it's
one?
just-
Only give it to one other character. So
Yeah. So Xavier is obviously favouring Oscar for some reason over
It's
the
too late
others.
for me, really. I'm covered in that stuff.
Frank, it's your action.
Well, as I said, I'm going to wade a little bit into the water. Heed the
Yeah.
command from Xavier, of course. Try not to get the stuff over me. And wash it off.
well, you need to wash it off with Quincy.
It does seem to be coming off reasonably easily. It'll take you a couple of rounds to get it all off, as far as you can tell. But yeah, it looks like it's coming off quite easily.
Good, good. I'll carry on.
2s, it's the thing. Okay, 1, 2, 3, Dean. Okay, Dean, these roots that have been entangling around your legs are now trying to grab and grip you. They're trying to grapple you, and they attack with 5 dice. Okay, but fail. So these tendrils are trying to grab you around the ankles, but they haven't managed to get purchase. Dimitri's your action.
I'm carrying on digging.
Yeah. Okay. Stamina roll.
No successes. I'm pushing. No successes.
Okay.
No.
Mikhail.
I'm just going to say, Dimitri, they're grabbing at my feet. And then I'll try and dig up the plant once more. I won't try and break out because I don't want to break the plant.
Okay. Yeah. All this is predicated on the fact you're trying to get the plant out in one piece.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, yeah. 2 successes.
Okay. Yeah.
3 dice.
Yeah. You're managing to. You are definitely getting there. It's beginning to come up. You can see where the roots are sort of got their roots down into the ground. Some of those are sort of being pulled out of their little holes in the ground. You can see a few of those ant creatures, ant shrimp, sort of coming out of those holes. Not looking violent or aggressive at the moment, but obviously interested,
weapons
curious, curious as to what's happening because something is going on that they don't understand.
Yeah, they've all got their little spears out ready as they climb out the hole.
Okay, it's the plant again. Okay, again, these tendrils are really keen to get hold of you. This time they get 1 success, and one of them kind of like rips up your leg and grabs you around the lower leg. Yeah, you're kind of being held in place by this as it's trying to hold on to you. 8's Frank. No, Frank, it's Xavier.
Xavier.
First. Cameraman.
Yes. So far away, but giving orders, or I can try that again.
You can.
Dimitri, giving support how to dig up from my past experiences.
Backseat
You may do
driver.
that, yeah.
Dig better.
Don't dig like that. Dig like this.
Yes. You don't want
Yeah.
to upset them. Oh, 4 successes, so you'll get a +4 to your stamina.
Oh, that makes a
Okay.
big difference. Thanks.
Yes.
Okay, next round, Frank. You're still cleaning stuff off for this round.
If I may?
If you want to keep doing that, yeah.
Yeah, that's my point. I might even just have to pop away for a moment.
Yeah, okay.
I'll
Cool.
be back in about a minute.
Everyone will be dead by the time Frank gets back.
Especially me.
All the
dead.
screens will be empty. We'll all have gone. Everyone will have rage quit. Right, so 2s, it's the plant again is reacting. This time, one of the small spore balls of base of the thing pops, and it's going. Yeah, it's not very big. It's quite a small little explosion. But Dean, you take 1 point of damage from the flame coming off it. Dimitri, no, you don't take any. This little burst of flame has come out in your direction, Dean, and you are now covered in some of these spores.
I take that point of damage.
Okay,
My armor
yeah.
does not block.
And you've got spores all over your armor, all over your hazmat suit.
Well, ouch. Been
Uh,
licked by spore-licked flames, grappled by a tendril.
that they don't like you, Dimitri.
Isn't
Yeah,
my day.
I'm still digging now with my.
Maybe the plant knows what you want to do with it later on.
I wish to grind you into a fine powder.
We want to grow it and cultivate it. Give it a nice environment.
Protect it. Yes, Dimitri. Yeah, you
yeah,
are
so-
digging.
Yeah, so now Xavier said, look, dig there. And I'm going, actually, good point.
Yeah.
I'll dig there. And I'll get 2 successes, which I'll probably
Okay.
stick with.
Okay, you're not pushing that.
No, I don't think so at this point.
No. Okay. Yeah, it's nearly up. It's very, very nearly up. There's hardly anything left holding it in. You're almost ready to stuff it into the big bag that you've brought along.
Box, big hard steel box.
Okay, sorry, big
Like
hard
plastic bag.
your string bag that you brought.
It's just a net. That's all we brought.
So, Mikhail, your action. It's nearly up, but you've got
Uh,
one of these tendrils on your leg at the moment.
Is it still a stamina roll to try and break free of that?
It's a stamina roll. It is. It's an opposed stamina roll.
You should probably
Opposed?
try and break 3 of that, otherwise you're going to have to go in the box with it.
No offense, but if it's opposed, I'm not sure I will be able to beat it.
It got 1 success.
It's possible.
How many dice can I hear there?
3. I got 1 success as well. Do I need to beat it though, don't I?
You need to beat it. Yes. So
Well,
you can
I'm gonna-
push.
I think I'm gonna push. No, but the 1 stress dice is wonderful. 5. 5 for
Okay,
my
so
stress.
yeah, so you're holding it together, but you don't manage to break free. You've nearly managed to break free, but not quite. 7s. It's the plant again. Okay. See, 1, 2, 3, Dean. 4, 5, 6, Tony.
Just from the snake out, I know it's me.
So Dean,
For
as you're fighting with this
Like
thing, the flower head kind of turns in your direction, and you can see this frond that whips out at you, and it attacks with 6 dice.
I'd just like to say, I think I might die here.
Okay, it hits you for 1 point of damage, Dean. Your armor can mitigate that.
Can it?
Oh, it can. Yes, that's good. Otherwise, I'd have been broken.
Okay, this thing has whipped across your face mask, and it's left a big, sort of horrid yellow, slimy trail across it.
Sample.
Hugs and kisses. Wonderful.
It's Xavier shouting at everybody from his safe spot on the tractor. Do that! Do this! Do that!
It's
Well,
all
it worked for me
about
last time.
positioning yourself in the right bit when you're excavating a plant.
Who thought it would be this dangerous?
I feel that again. I'm going to try and help Dr. Mikhail Mayer with his stamina rolls by giving advice roughly of how, from Xavier's past experience of other forms of entanglement, to try and give him a stamina to break free, and suggestions. Give him
Other
more
forms
dice.
of entanglement. That sounds intriguing.
Yeah. How to avoid
Was this
being-
like?
yeah. Go limp, pretend you're dead.
Go
Don't
limp.
pick anything up. That's usually.
I won't
the
have to
trick.
pretend in a minute.
You can only get +1, I'm afraid. Unless
Oh,
it's
that's
true.
fine.
But 1 dice additional. Yeah.
That's
Your
that's
stamina.
still better than most. I need all the dice I can have.
Okay, that's the end of the round. So it's Oscar. You've now
Am I done?
splashed all the stuff on you. You think you've got it all off you. It's your action.
Okay, at that point, I turn around and have a look at what these goons are doing. And I wave back onto the beach, but that's probably all I'm going to do at this stage.
Okay. Right, so you're back up on the beach, but you're not back with them yet.
Trying to understand what's going on.
I'm being hugged and kissed by a plant. That's what I can tell.
Friendly flora.
Too friendly, personally.
Okay, Dean, you can feel that the root on your leg is tightening
Great.
as it's its action. And then it's Dimitri.
I'm still digging.
Yep.
That's one success, but I am going to push that this time because I sense there's a bit of a urgency now because the doctor's being dragged down. So, oh, excellent! I get 3 successes now in total. No panic.
Okay, the plant comes up. There's a bit of earth and a bit of ground comes up with it. Quite a lot of those shrimp ant things are entangled with all the roots, but you've got it, and you can now stuff it in your.
I should try and stuff it in my very secure box.
Yeah, you can do that. You don't need to make a roll for that. This is, this is largely an inanimate thing. It's not resisting like a person would. And yeah,
Is the root that's attached to Dr. Meyer one of the roots of this plant?
Yes.
So it's still kind of attached to him. So do we need to drag it off his leg before we can
I'm going to
finally
get
shove
shoved
it
in a box with a plant.
in the
So
box?
you can get all of it in, with the
Yeah.
exception of the couple of tendrils that are holding on to Maya.
Okay, we'll do that.
Chop off the leg.
Yeah, we don't want to damage the
just
root.
the
We don't want
leg.
to damage the root, do we? So it's got to be just the leg's got to come off, Dr. Meyer. That's right, isn't it?
So Dean, it's your action now, though.
I'm going to try and break free once more with
Okay, it's
wonderful
Son.
Xavier's
opposed
knowledge of
to-
being entangled.
you can feel that the tendrils holding you are stronger now than they were,
I'm going to lose a leg.
but only gets 1 success.
Oh, I'm pushing. One success. No panic, though.
Okay, that's not good enough. So you almost get it off, but it's not quite. 4, 5. It's the plant's go. So the plant. Okay, there's no point. The plant is now in the box. It's it's captured, with the exception of this one tendril that is still. It's more than one. There's probably 3 or 4 actually that are out holding on to Maya. I think we can probably drop out of initiative unless, Xavier, you want to do something for the end of the round?
I think we've got enough recorded evidence.
Now, I would try to assist in getting the tendril sort of off the leg, whether I can force it or something like that.
Yeah, so it'll be a stamina roll for whoever is doing it.
Yeah, okay.
And you can get 2 dice of help from the 2
Help,
people
yeah.
with yes.
5
Yeah,
plus 2 plus 2. And I don't have any stress right now because I'm really chilled. So that is at least 1 success.
It got 1 success. Did you want to push?
Yeah, why not?
You're
Sure.
struggling to remove it.
I'm just
I
going.
put the stress in afterwards, right?
Yeah, no, you add the
No, no,
stress
you
straight
take the
away.
stress straight away.
Alright.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and then roll the stuff that didn't roll a 6.
Yeah, so that I now have 3 successes, but also panic.
Okay, roll your panic.
And the panic is a 4.
Okay, yeah, you hold it together. You start to panic because you can see that this tendril is beginning to cut through the hazmat suit. And if it had been on for much longer, then it was going to be doing the same to Maya's leg. But you managed to tear it away and shove it in the box and slam the top of the box down. And you've managed to capture one of these immature plants.
Have you got a name for it yet, Dr. Mayer?
Am I the one that gets to name this highly toxic and beautiful plant life?
Well, I
that's trying
think
to
if you
kill
had
me?
taken your leg off, we'd have let you. But
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay, fine. Let's just get back to the tractor.
let's get back in there and get back outside, back in the dipper, and back to the science module.
As you're doing that, you can see you got quite a lot of these shrimp ant things into the box, but there's a lot of them coming out of the ground, looking very confused and dazed, and they kind of disperse in all sorts of different directions.
Shall we go
Looking-
quickly?
Looking
Let's go
very
quick.
disorientated. And yeah, you can get back to Orlovsky's. I keep on calling it Orlovsky.
Ozolinsky.
It's not Orlovsky. Ozolinsky. I should just start calling him Orlovsky because that's what I keep saying. Ozolinsky, yeah. And he takes you back out to where the science pod is anchored. And you have yourself a plant.
We should clean off our hazmat suits of any spores that were
Yeah.
left on them.
Good idea.
And there's kind of yellow slime across my mask. That would be nice as well.
You should probably get a sample of that.
Yeah, sample. Yeah,
Yeah, we can scrape it off and put it in some sort of sample container.
Then I'll wash it, you know.
Yeah. Okay, yellow slime.
So, shall we leave the scientists here? Are they sure they want to be? I ask the question again.
Those of you who are washing your hazmat suits, I would like a medical aid roll, please.
So that's 4 + 1.
To guarantee that you've got rid of everything.
There's no such thing as a guarantee when I roll these dice. Exactly.
I'll
Can I
get
push
one-
that?
One success.
You can push it, absolutely. Same goes for you, Maya.
I've got 3 successes. I think I'm
That's
okay.
better. I've got two successes after the
I'm
push.
gonna
But I
go
have,
back as
I have a panic, and the panic is a 3.
Okay, yeah, you've managed it. You think you've sterilized your suits and got rid of all of the spores.
Good.
You think.
And then back to 2 stress.
Okay. Yeah, you've achieved that.
my apologies.
That's all right. You've achieved that outcome.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for helping with that. That was quite tough. Little plant. Git.
So who's going to name it? So let's see. Our missions were examine the flora and fauna. Well, examined us, and we examined
Yeah.
it.
Establish a scientific outpost, survey and prospect for natural resources,
That's still something to do.
and assess the life of the area for exploitable food sources.
Well, there are a lot of shrimp. A lot of them.
Yeah, and they might have tried to use us as food sources.
Yeah, but people eat tigers and stuff. So
They?
I'm sure that someone does somewhere.
However, while
Yeah.
we're here, there was some conjecture about these plants drawing minerals out of the ground. Can we use our survey and prospecting module to do a little bit of mineral research as well, rather than just plant?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You can
Test
make
the
an
roll.
observation roll.
Is that something the scientists should do? The boffins?
Actually, I am actually, in theory, the geologist of the party.
Aha! You rock.
Oh dear.
Okay, it wasn't very good.
With help.
So, can anyone help with this?
Well,
Yes, I think so. I think you can get dice of help for that.
I'd
So,
happily help.
Who
I
else?
don't know whether the prospecting module itself gives any help.
I think it gives you +1 as well. Yeah.
So that's +2 in total, yeah. Okay, do a bit of a mineralogical survey of the area. Well, I get 2 successes. No panic. Probably stick with that.
No stress.
This particular area is quite boring, mineralogically wise. There's nothing particularly interesting in this immediate area, but you're only actually surveying quite a small area. You think that the plants probably aren't sort of drawing on the actual minerals in the rock. They're probably drawing up, very similar to plants on Earth would, but also they seem to be feeding on live things as well, and possibly,
Scientists.
well, given the chance.
I think
and-
doctors actually. I own that title.
And
Okay.
also, there seems to be a strong symbiotic relationship between the lagoon flowers and the shrimp ants, where the shrimp ants feed on the lagoon dying and old roots. they sometimes feed on the ants when they need them, and they obviously give each other joint protection.
Good,
So I think
good.
you've probably completed as much of your mission as you could reasonably have managed, and we are 2.25 hours in, so we probably ought to be wrapping up. The other scientist, Christoph Callan, has volunteered to remain behind with Ibeck and Ozelinski
Instead of
and Kamen Chan. No, stay with them as well. So
right.
instead
So
of 3 of them
four
staying,
of them
4 of them
stay.
will. In order to sort of give Ibeck a little bit more sort of reassurance that this isn't going to be very difficult being out here with Ozelinski.
Have they got enough fuel to get back?
That's a very good question.
They have got just enough fuel to get back. Yes.
Presumably they'll still have comms to us anyway. So if they do have any trouble, then they can get in touch with us and we can send out a rescue party.
Fair enough.
Is that fair to say?
Yes. Yeah, they should be able to get in comms. It won't be constant because it depends on the orbit of what you've left in orbit. So they won't always have comms, but every day there will be an opportunity for comms.
And we'll have a chat with the ones that are going to stay, just about what they're planning to do for their mission. Are they happy to stay here and continue studying these plants, or are they going to try and find somewhere else that might be a slightly more benign place to stay for a longer period?
So I think they intend to try and find somewhere better to anchor the pod more permanently. They're going to try and find somewhere with dry land to do that if they can, but they won't go too far from this place because it's not a bad place. Now that one of those plants has been removed as well, there might be a bit of space here even to be able to do some research a bit more carefully, a bit more safely than before.
Are we taking this one plant with us back to the island? So
yes, that's my intention, to try and study it in
with a few shrimp.
on its own.
And then shrimp, yeah.
Oh yeah, we got some shrimps as well.
Yeah,
In terms of if they have any nutritional value.
You've got quite a lot of them in because there's quite a lot of them actually inside the structure of the flower. So you've got kind of a sort of working colony of the shrimp ants as well as a live flower with a couple of spore bulbs left.
Now, if you could just learn that song of that plant.
I wonder if we can create an artificial hive.
Hive, is that a word you really want to use in Alien?
Okay, ant's nest. Is that better?
Okay, are you going to return back to Solovetsky Island then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Unless there's anything else you want to do? Anyone else? Xavier? Yeah.
I guess we just would need to be surveying and sampling on our way back in case there's anything. Mapping out the area, but other than that, let's get back.
Yeah, any other fish life or aquatic life. Small.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, let's go up for one of those 100-meter long worms on the way back, yeah?
You get
one of those.
You don't come across one of those. You get back in good style with no problems. And I think that's the point where we draw the veil on the first episode of The Colony.
Good.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Answer a quick question in chat.
Of course.
Connor, I think we're going to use the plant for the drugs. I'm not certain, but I think the plant is the drugs. And
I think that's... Yes, I think the shrimps, I think don't have the alkaloid properties that will generate the potential recreational narcotics. Although they could, I guess we could analyze them, they might be edible, and they might be, if we could cultivate them, they might be another source of seafood.
Yeah.
For viewers, for your information, Connor is playing the Commissar General. Tan Blatchman, who is effectively the chief civil marshal for Solovetsky Island.
That's why I want to know about the drugs.
He is the one who got this mission sponsored in order to find some nice new food for the people to avoid them having to eat lab-grown crap.
Definitely not a reason for me to come and make drugs.
No, definitely not. Right, guys, we'll quickly do initiative.
You mean experience?
Yes.
We're gonna fight another plant, guys. It got out. It got out.
You're right. We have hit the worm.
It's been a long couple of days.
It has been. Absolutely.
Even longer for you and the viewers, clearly. But yes. Right, yes, let's do experience, shall we? I'm really pleased. Thank you for the comments, viewers. I'm delighted you've enjoyed it. We'll do experience. But if you don't want to bother listening to that, just so you know, 2 weeks today will be episode 2 of The Colony, which will be picking up the story with some different characters, different cast for next time, but picking up a story which will be connected to this one in some way or another. So if you're leaving, then thank you for watching, and see you next week, 8:30 GMT. Next week, 2 weeks. 2 weeks
Time.
for episode 2 of Alien the Colony. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Right,
to the drug
experience. Experience. We're not encouraging. Just say no, everybody. Okay.
First time of actually getting experience in an Alien game.
Right, we'll go through the questions. I'm going to be quite harsh on judging because they're not very long scenarios, and you could end up getting a lot of XP if you answer all the questions. Yes. So, did you participate in the game? That would be
Yes,
a point each.
I think yes, we did.
Did you risk or sacrifice something to further your personal agenda?
I wanted drugs.
Now, some people might not have personal agendas particularly yet.
I have the agenda of trying to find food sources, but did I do enough for that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no, I think, for that. Sorry, Frank.
I find it hard to delegate work to others, even if it means taking on extra work. So I did kind of stay up for the sciencey stuff and not sleep and reduce my stress.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you have that then, Bruce.
My personal agenda is you're slowly generating income through therapeutics, but it's slow going. You're fine with earning a bit on the side.
I guess this whole scenario was based around trying to help you do that. So, yes, you can have a point for that, Dean.
Yes, drugs.
Tony?
Drug XP.
I don't think I did really. So my pet agenda is really about trying to take as much control of the science policy in the colony as I can. I don't think this is necessarily
No, okay.
really
No, that's
advancing
fine.
that, so I don't think I get that.
Okay. Did you risk your life for your PC buddy?
I'm just establishing my buddy, so far.
Yeah,
no.
that's fine. I think
My
they probably
buddy
just
wasn't
say
here.
okay, so no.
Yeah, no.
No. Okay. Did you challenge or stand up to your rival? I guess you haven't got particularly rivals yet.
Haven't really got a rival yet.
No.
There's no other
Did you
drug,
make-
isn't it?
Did you make a panic roll?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, definitely did that.
Okay, everyone gets a point for
Get an XP for doing
panicking.
the panic roll.
That's what it says. You see, this
Huh?
is so. For those people who've listened to the podcast, you will have heard long and probably now very tedious conversations between me and Matthew about the way Free League do XP. I'm doing it the way it's written. I don't normally, but we are playing the game, so yeah, that's fine. Did you overcome a dangerous event using violent or non-violent means?
I almost have my leg torn off. Does that count?
I think we
Oh,
definitely did that. That was quite,
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
And people got blown up by spores.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the only one who didn't do that, Xavier.
Yeah, probably not.
You were there, but
It was
you're just
delegated.
shouting at
Directing
them from
things
next to
direction.
the-
Strategically placed elsewhere.
It was.
God,
It does feel-
shit, moron.
It does
Dig it
feel it does feel a bit harsh to deny your
Yeah.
point because you were involved.
Yeah,
yeah, quite helpful as well. I had
yeah.
4 extra dice on one of my dig rolls.
yeah.
as a
Yeah.
result of being
I got basically
Yes,
an extra
okay,
third of my
okay.
dice pool from him.
That's a bit harsh, actually, to deny you that. So I think you should have that, Bruce.
Okay.
Did you make a significant discovery or revelation?
Plants
Well,
are
you
evil.
found out
Well,
everything
we did,
about these
yeah.
plants,
Yeah,
so that's
find out everything about, yeah.
a point each for that. Did you perform an extraordinary action of some kind?
What does that count as?
Probably not really.
Oh, really? Yeah.
No, I'm going to be slightly extraordinary.
No.
And the last one is, I'm not going to include it or allow you to get points for it, but did you earn any money?
No. Well, sort
We
of.
did.
By being there,
paid
you're
for
earning.
Yeah.
So I guess for those of you who take UPP merits, that doesn't count as money. But no, I'm not going to use that one because I think that's wrong. So how many points did everybody get out of that lot?
I got 5.
I got 5.
4.
4, 4, 5, 5. Okay, that's probably feels about right, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think considering how often, you're only going to be probably playing once a month for each character.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Brilliant. Well, I think that probably draws us to a close. Thank you very much to Dean, Frank, Tony, and Bruce for being such great players. Thanks to Matthew behind the scenes, producing the whole thing and making sure it all runs smoothly. But most of all, thank you to everybody for watching and hope to see you in 2 weeks' time. Listen to more Effect Podcast stuff, everybody, and thank you and see you again soon. Bye.
See ya.